Normal, 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 normal. Nothing to see here. Normal, normal, normal. What's happened here? Okay, here we go. Classy, there you go. So I had to put the mats back in, so shoes off at the moment. I put the seats back in as well, just to get the airbag faults out of the way, and also I'm going to take the car for an MOT with the obviously the seats and everything back in except for the carpet, because we need to get the welding done there and I don't want to set the carpet on fire or whatever else. And also I'm still just chasing little water leaks around here when it rains, so I want to be able to see where it's leaking. But the order of the day is, as you saw last time, I've got the new toy. We've been having a look at it, and the fault that keeps coming up is the IMRC intake manifold runner control, and this one says stuck open. My other reader, the car has always had, for years, it's always had an IMRC fault and it's never made any difference whatsoever, but this is saying stuck open. So what I'm going to do is take it apart and see if I can sort of manually, I don't know whether I can manually move that and just see if it actually affects the idle, so that could be our problem. So what I'm going to do now is take off the airbox and take out the IMRC and just have a closer look at it. Okay, take out the airbox and then just disconnect the cable down here. Little cable in there, so that yeah, sort of loops back on itself and then runs into the IMRC box down there. Move the hose out of the way and just push the cable upwards and it just slots out. Unplug the connector, then undo the three 8mm bolts, and then wait for the noisy motorbikes to go past. Then we can pull out the IMRC and just yeah, just withdraw the cable. Okay, here we go. This is what all the fuss is about, the IMRC. So it looks like this one may have been opened before. The screws have been opened and a bit of mastic around there. I don't know whether that's standard or not, probably not. So I'm going to open that up and have a look at that. And then obviously we've got the cable here, and that's the connection you got on the other end, so that just pulls off. So what I'm going to do now is, I will be opening this up, but I'm going to just have a look at the intake part of the engine and see if I can get it to tick over a little bit better by sort of moving the runner controls manually if possible. Alright, the IMRC is off and yeah, detached from the car. It's still running like shite basically, but when I bring the revs up, it smooths out. It's just got very lumpy idle. So what I'm looking at now is the evap emission canister purge fault. So it has an issue there. It doesn't seem to be bringing up a fault code, but it says there's an error, so I'm going to look into that. Yeah, so just gone into the evap valve. It says it's varying. I always understood those are meant to be stable, so yeah, definitely something to have a look at. Right, so it looks like changing the canister purge valve here might be a good idea, because that's a possible cause of our problems. But what I'm also going to do is I've been having a look at the other thing down here, the PCV valve. So that goes in there. That's all sort of gummed up with oil. When I was pulling it out, basically you just sort of pull it out there. I actually broke the pipe. So that's what it looks like. I mean, it's probably working, but I'm going to change it anyway. But the plan now is I'm going to basically just start stripping it to pieces now, because this is a bit of a tricky misfire, and I'm planning to change everything on here anyway. So what I'm going to do is take all the thermostat housing off, because I know that's leaking. So take all this out, change the valve down there, have a look at the oil. I think it's an oil separator or something behind here, so I might need to have a look at the manifold as well, and then basically change everything that I can see. And obviously if we've still got the misfire when I put it all back together, then obviously we'll sort of try and diagnose it a bit further there. But what I need to do now is take the wings off, take the bumpers off, or the bumper off, and then I'm gonna underseal all of this. And because we're not going to be running the car anymore, because I'm going to take quite a few bits off it, I'm going to take off the subframe now so we can take that away, get that blasted, and then get that all back together there. So yeah, I had a few good leads with the scanner. So I think it is some sort of fuel emissions thing, not crankcase emissions, evaporative loss emissions or whatever it is, something to do with that. It might even be that a pipe is nipped under the fuel tank, so I'm going to take the fuel tank off or drop it down again and just double check. But now it's a real tricky one though, sort of running around in circles with it. And I think that's probably the best course of action now, is crack on and dismantle the entire front, do all the rust. Obviously bearing in mind winter is coming up as well, so I would like to get this sorted before the winter. Okay, take the battery out. I'll put this in the shed on the sort of long-term maintenance charge so that it stays in condition, ready for when we next fire this thing up. Now I'm going to take off the leaking thermostat housing. So first of all, I've got to drain the cooling system. Take off the expansion tank top. Then we get the universal car key and we undo the radiator drain plug. Obviously do it when the engine's cold. Take out the sensor connector. Take off the hose clamps. You want a special pair of sort of clamp pliers for this. Call these bitch clamps. If you've ever tried to do these without a pair of these pliers, you'll know why. And do the one at the top and the one underneath as well, and then just pull them all off. Once the top pipe is out, you can get to the bottom clamp. Pull the hose off. And then undo the 3 bolts here. So 1, 2, 3. I'm also going to take this battery tray out just to give you better access. So that's just the nuts of the bolts at the bottom there, and one at the side there too. And cut the cable tie for the outside temperature sensor. And just disconnect the other wiring clip as well, so it just pushes into the back there. Take out the tray. There we go, much better access to get everything undone there. And take off the other tube on the back there as well. Undo the 3 10mm bolts. And then just take out the whole assembly. I am going to clean these bolts up or get new ones, but for now I'm just going to put them back in here just so we know we're not going to lose them, and also we know that something should be attached. Okay, there we go, that's the thermostat assembly and the temperature sense there as well. So we're looking at it as if we were looking directly at the car, so the block would be here. So basically that's what happens inside there. It opens and shuts depending on the temperature. They can go, so basically if you were doing it while it was on your car, you just undo these 3 sort of hex screws there, then you would pull off the front, and then you just take out the thermostat, put the new one in, put this back on with a new, I think it's got a new gasket on there. So yeah, I'll just undo that now, just have a look at the inside of it. Yeah, I've just taken the screws out there, so this is what you get. The front just comes off, and then inside, if you want to change this when it's on the car, you would just pull this out and then get a new one, put the new one back in, put the top back on, and that's done. But obviously we've got a leak with this one from somewhere. Normally I would just change these, they're quite cheap. So yeah, we're going to be changing that one. You know, I was thinking earlier this misfire might be caused by the car having 99 RON in it for the first time. It's drinking it. What is this 99 RON? Okay, right, let's take off the bumper and then take the wings off. I'm going to take the wings off because I want to have a look at the washer bottle and properly rust seal everything, just have a really good look. I'm going to take the bumper off because I just want to have a really good look at it, and also to check the chassis rail and replace various bits and bobs that I need to, have a look at the radiator, all the other bits really, just have a really good inspection of the front. Unclip the grille. Yours might be more attached than mine, but mine was ready to come off there. Undo the screw. And then we just take the front piece of plastic off. So we've got the coolant radiator tucked behind there, and then we've got the radiator for the air conditioning system there. So we can't do anything with that at the moment, even though the radiator is pretty ronnied. We do need to change it, but we have to have the system depressurized and collect the gas. It's strictly forbidden to vent these directly into the atmosphere. So we'll get it back on the road, get that depressurized, and we'll change our bits. And yeah, that's a job for probably next summer. Disconnect the fog light wiring, pinch these two things in, pull off the connector. And now, I think the way I'm going to do this is to, obviously there's a bit of plastic here, a bit of plastic shielding connected to the front of the bumper. It looks like it does unclip there, but I think I'm going to try popping out these connectors here, and then hopefully the bumper will come out with that plastic guard in place. Let's see how we go. Yeah, there's our little plastic clips. I'm going to have to get various packs of new clips when I put this all back together. Hello. Let's have that one off there. There we go. It's a sign of a high performance motor there, shedding weight as it goes. Yeah, it's just the bottom bit of the radiator. And just undo the nuts here with a 10mm. Yeah, there's not really much holding bumpers on. They are fairly easy because people are smashing these into things all the time, and it's quite a common thing to go. So yeah, thank goodness. Take off the jets for the headlights if they're fitted, so pull it out, and then I need to do this when I'm not holding the phone, so I'll put a screwdriver just under there, just lift that up a little bit, and then what will happen is the end of the jet will pop out and that will go back into the bumper. There we go, so that comes out, and then the other bit there just pops back inside so we can get the bumper over it. Another 10mm just on the top corner. And just comes loose like that. Got the other side freed off, and then we just go through it and push these little tabs in and sort of wiggle the bumper loose. Okay, we are going to need to disconnect it from here actually, so that they could have stayed in, but we are going to take it out from there because as I'm pulling it, it is caught on something. So undo those or just separate them, so just sort of pull it apart, and then we should be able to just remove the bumper. Like so. Okay, it's nice and loose on this side, and it's actually caught on this side here, so the temptation when you get something like that is to pull it. Don't want to do that. What I normally do is just have a look on the side that is free, and I can see that it's actually caught just there. So what I'm going to do with this is push down on that, and that will free that as well, so just save it from breaking the bumper. Ta-da, there we go, bumper is off. So yeah, got a lovely big bar in there, everything's filthy dirty. So I have noticed there is I must have had a parking ding at some point there, so I'm going to strip all that back and just repair that. It's not actually not done any damage there at all, it's literally just on the front there, so I can sort that out, give it a clean. I'm going to take the headlights off as well because you may have noticed I've always got T-tails on them because they do go a bit brown in the sunshine there, in bright sunshine. So when I did these, I have already polished these with Autoglym, the Autoglym polishing kit, and I should have put a UV protection on. I didn't, so that's why they're going brown again, so I'll have to sort that out. But yeah, I mean, it's a lovely thick front of these cars. These were, at the time, they were 4-star end cap, so it's obviously the old end cap. And yeah, they have got sort of, you know, fairly thick metal there, so yeah, nicely put together. But what I'm going to do now is take out those lights and give it all a clean up, and also find somewhere to put this. We both know it's going to go in my lounge, so another ornament for the lounge there. Okay, headlights. So first thing, we pull out the plug down here, not this plug, that plug there. We take up two 10mm bolts, and then the whole light just comes out. There we go. So when I first started doing this project, I thought, well, it's a Ford Focus, so all the parts will be fairly cheap. Some of them are, but then there's some of them like this. Actually, most parts are getting very difficult for this particular car, and this is a very expensive part, so that's why I've been polishing the lens, and I really want to try and look after them. I need to get a new seal across there as well. I did do an upgrade when I was using the car, and had a genuine hella ballast on there. These come on really nicely, really quickly, and they warm up to temperature, you know, very, very well. And I've also got night breaker headlights in there. Marketing people sold that to me, night breaker, you know, love that name, but they are really good headlights. So I do actually like xenon lights. I know that LEDs on new cars, they are incredible, much better than these, but I just like the way that these sort of snap on, then the colour warms up, and I just like the whole look of them really. Then as usual, put the old bolts back in, otherwise we will definitely lose them. Let's get the other headlights out. I just want to show you sort of why I want to take this car to bits, really, because it's just lots of little things like, you know, cable tie around there is digging into the pipe, and that pipe is rubbing on that one there, so that could eventually go. And also there is a piece down here where that pulley has actually rubbed onto the headlight wire there, so I need to take that all apart and get that sorted. So it's just covered in lots of little bits of that, nothing major, just little bits that I want to address to make it absolutely perfect. Good, all looks good. So let's take the same 10mm and we're going to get the wings off. 3 out of the top, 1 out the front corner. Take out the pad. Careful not to rip it. It's crazy when this is out, you can smell the mud, so it has had a rain. I've obviously not been driving it, but it still does collect in here, and it's crazy. I'm going to save these wings because bloody hell, look at that. I need to put them back on, and I will eventually be getting some other wings, but I need to research what's the best thing to do here. And also on this side here, there is a dent in there. I presume something's happened at some point and it's been hit from underneath. I don't know, but it's something I need to look into. 10mm down here. I'm going to need both hands. That is stuck on there. Yeah, it's a bit tight, it does come out there. Need to disconnect the indicator wire, but I can't see where it is at the moment, so I'll get the wing half off and then disconnect that before I pull the whole lot out. Open the door and undo that 10mm. You need a longer extension bar. Okay, that's very, very loose, but on this side we've got the washer bottle, and I think that's hiding another one behind here, so I'm going to undo this one and I think just that one there, and then take out the washer bottle, obviously disconnect the pump and all the bits we need to, and then I can access the last one, which I think is under there. Still on the 10mm. I swear this car is made of 10mm bolts. It's crazy. Unhook the pipes. Undo the washer filler neck bolt. Put the bolt back in case we lose it. And then we just carefully lower this out. Obviously we've got some spaghetti attached there, so I'm going to have to put the phone down and just unpick that. And then also we can undo the side repeater bowl there as well, or the connection for the bulb. This is the high pressure line there to the headlight washer, so it sits in the groove there and then goes down here, goes to a T, so one's to one jet and one's to the other jet on the other side. And then off the pump, you probably know all this, I'm only doing this for my own reference really, so I can put it back together. So this one goes out of there and then it's up, that goes to the front washers, I would imagine, and then the second one here, it seems to sort of go up here through there and then disappears down that way, so I would imagine that goes to the back. Well, I'm not going to start messing with that, I'm just going to disconnect it from here. Okay, cool, I didn't know that was there. There's another huge pump here, the one that does the washer jet, so all I'm going to do is just disconnect it from there. Actually, maybe I'll disconnect it from that end. I might, yeah, to get out of the way, I'm going to disconnect it from this end, and then I'm just going to cut that strap there, and that will free the wheel arch area. So yeah, big pump at the back there, and the little pump for the washer jets at the other side. Actually, we can leave this clamp on. I'll undo it from here, from the connector. Let's take this off, and then that'll just come out. Pull this out. And then we're going to put the fluid that's left in here in with the antifreeze for disposal. disconnect the side repeater. And then loosen off the last 10mm, not all the way because we're going to do the last bit by hand and just press up against the wing, otherwise it's going to fall off. And then just lift off the wing. And just make a note of which way the little foam piece goes on there, because that will come loose. Yeah, and this is what happens to them, all the mud just collects at the bottom there, and yeah, it's not good for anything really. I think you can, I've not properly looked into it, I think you can sort of replace the bottom of that and repair that. I mean, this will be probably going back on as it is till I can sort new wings out. I'm going to get the car running properly in MOT, then we'll work on the cosmetics and all the other bits, but yeah, I should be able to reuse that, hopefully. Then under here, we've now got proper access to clean all this up and seal it properly. It is completely solid, this, it is just surface rust. I'll give that a proper wire wheel off, and I'll do what I did to the back and get it properly treated. There we go, ready to be cleaned up. I'm just going to tuck a lot of these wires away and probably take the horns off as well, because I know they're not working properly, but we can see everything here. We've got this is all good, this is a big sort of load bearing piece, so this is all solid, and yeah, it all looks good under here really. I'm happy with the result there. So that is fairly well dismantled there. What I need to do, well, this is actually it for today, but I'm gonna tomorrow do the other side and then give it a really good wash down and just generally clean it up and have a further look. I'm going to take this piece off as well, just as I did with the back, and we're going to get in the chassis rails and spray the wax oil or similar in there as well. Good morning, lovely day. We're going to get the wing off and I'm going to take off this crash bar at the front. So with this wing, it's obviously really close to the house and I can't open the door to get to that little nut in between the door and the wing there to undo it. So fortunately you can actually get a spanner in there. You can see on the other side I just got the extension bar and went in there, but obviously I can't open the door enough, so you can just get a spanner in the edge there, which is very lucky. Let's be very careful not to scratch your door paint. This may take some time. Okay, there we go, driver's side off, all looks good. This is solid, just surface rust, so I'm going to clean that one up as well. Having a look at this, there's bloody regulator here. I was thinking possibly with a misfire, I don't know whether this would affect it. I've never heard of it doing it, but my scanner is saying it's running on 95 RON, and I know I've got 99 in because I've just washed the tank out. It's only got 99 in, so I'm thinking possibly the car is thinking it's running on the wrong fuel and it's you know, trying to burn on something that's got a higher rating. I don't know, but it's something I'm going to consider anyway. But yeah, so we've got the front off here. I'm going to take off this crash bar now and have a good look behind that. I'm just wondering how far to go on this really, and I think probably what I'm also going to do is take off this rail here as well, and you know, I might as well change the radiator while I'm in here. I might as well do the whole lot. This is obviously very well taken to pieces now, but if you come around this side, it's looking, well, it is complete, it's all done. That's why I didn't really want to start ripping into it completely. I wanted to get the back done before I started to take the front apart. So yeah, let's take some more bits off. 3 bolts, 13mm. Got those out. We're going to do the same on the other side. Can't wait to get this sorted out though. I'd love to know what happened to this. It's if the previous owner's watching, yeah, let me know. But I'd always sooner repair this than have a part that is non-Ford or a part that I don't know the quality of. So I don't mind a dent, and yeah, I'd sooner have a part that I know is a proper part on the car, even if it has got a little bit of history knocked into it. Right, then we just undo the support bolts here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that, that should just separate there. So yeah, future Paul, if you're lost and watching these videos to work out how to put it back together, they just go under there. So yeah, now we all know. You know what, I'm going to do it. Let's take this off as well, because now I've undone the bottom supports. this is all basically completely loose. So it looks like it's just the nuts here. Same at the other side. All of this headlight washer stuff will come out because it's all hooked onto this. The radiator should just stay where they are, and then if I just detach the bits here, that should come out as one unit. Then we can clean it up and have a better look. Okay, pipes are loose. Let's just undo. There's 3 bolts here actually. So get these out. 6mm. Of course I'm joking, they're 10mm. Sorry, there's 5, there's 2 more down there as well, so it appears these need to come out too. There we go, same on the other side now. Last one. Okay, this calls for a tripod shot. Oh yeah, we've got the release for the... No, it's not the release for the bonnet, is it? It's the... I think it's the alarm for the bonnet. Just disconnect that. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. There we go. So yeah, we've got good access for everything now. We can do the bit of wire in here. We can change the radiator sandwich. Obviously, once we've sorted this one out, this is all undone. So I'm going to pull this out from its mounting now. I just need to make sure that this main kind of trunking piece of wire is disconnected there, and also something in here as well. I think that may well be an airbag sensor, but I'm not 100% sure, so yeah, we're going to take it off anyway, make sure nothing's connected, and then we're going to take this piece off. Alright, so take the clip out, and then we are going to detach the suspected sensor, like that. Just leave that hanging there. And the trunking cable clips, so we've got one here, little one on there, big one there, another smaller one there, and then the last big one there. And then we have another little one down there as well. And we appear to have a bracket down there for the, I think that's the power steering cooler there, so 2 down there, and then that should be it, 3. Oh yeah, and don't forget the little clips for the radiator air scoop, 1 on each side. Another mystery bolt, 1 under here, so need to undo this one. This sort of holds on the radiator, so the radiator weight will sit on that. There is still another one connected to the chassis rail, so that won't move. The radiator will sit on there. Once we've undone that, both sides, then put you back on the tripod and this will come off. So this is going to want to fall as we undo the last bolt, so just push it in. Undo that. And then take the bar out. There we go, looking good. Well, looking dismantled. So yeah, I'm going to take off the radiator air dam as well. So yeah, this is mostly for my own reference here. So yeah, it just sort of hooks in there over the pipe there, and then yeah, it goes along there, and then the other side, the pipe hooks through that side there, and they should just sit up against the aircon radiator. So let's get that one off. There we go, so that sits on the car like that. Be sure not to lose the little clips down there. I'm going to change all the clips on this car, so I'll get some new ones of those. Take out the air feed pipe as that's in the way and it's all loose. Again, just for my own reference, the wire passes around this side, the pipe is above it. I can see where the mark is there actually, and yeah, it just tucks in like that. So yeah, I don't want anything rubbing on anything when I put it back together. Look at this great access. You know, we're going to do the clutch at some point. Well, probably sooner rather than later now. And yeah, it's going to be hopefully a lot easier to get to this than most times it's been done. Right, let's take the coolant radiator off. Air conditioning and engine coolant are completely separate, big gap down there, and I should be able to simply lift up the radiator, coolant radiator, and that will come apart from the air conditioning one just with that hook there, so I won't be breaching that at all. So what I'm going to do now is unplug it. So I've got a big connector there, and then I just need to unclip these little hooks here just so that it's free. And then the air conditioning one will slide a little bit out of the bracket there. So see, it just sort of slides this way. Pull that this way. And then we can basically separate the two, so we can lift up the coolant radiator and leave the air conditioning one in there. Now we're going to use the hose clamps and take off the hoses. So we've got 1, 2, and then the bottom one down there. The big one, this one here, I'm going to leave on because the other end isn't actually connected, so we can leave that on there. I'm going to be replacing all the hoses anyway, but best to leave them on so you know where they go. Hoses off. We need to make sure this whole unit is 100% detached from the radiator there, so if I just push that along, you should be able to see when that is 100% clear there, like that, and then we can lift it out. There's one clip I left on, isn't there? So we can do this one-handed. And just tip the remainder of the antifreeze in here for disposal. So the radiator actually looks okay. It's not massively corroded. It's yeah, all the fins seem to be reasonable. Then on the other side, proper Bosch fan, so looks really good quality. I think it's probably original to the car, so yeah, Bosch mark down there, Ford mark on it. So yeah, this is obviously, it's had a test through the scanner and everything, still seems to be working, but I'll take it to bits. May well change the radiator. I'll only do that though if I can find a genuine one. I'm not going to go for an aftermarket part that's not branded if this one is a sort of, you know, decent quality Ford original jobby. So yeah, I'm going to disassemble this and clean it out and just have a good look and then work out what to do. Now the radiator's out of the way, I can take off the heat shield. It was a little bit tight access to get that out before, so take that one off. So I need to work out a way of repairing these and just making sure that I can reattach this properly. It's a nice heavy part, this. There we go, this is what we've got underneath it. So the ST170 is Cosworth tuned, and this is one of the bits they added onto it, this lovely exhaust manifold. So all of these are smooth, nicely free flowing, and apparently they're all equal length as well, just to help the flow there. So what I'm going to do is go through it and take all these bolts out and just make sure they're all okay. This one here is up there for safekeeping, and I'm also going to do the same at the bottom there with these ones, free them all off and make sure it's in perfect condition. So I want to do a lot of work to the air conditioning while it's all really easy to get to and taken apart, and also this radiator has had it. So what I'm going to do, obviously I need to take the gas out in a safe way, store it or have it recycled. So I'm going to get a mobile air conditioning specialist to come out and basically drain the system, take the gas away. Then I can sort of get into it and change all the parts, and then when it's back together I'll have it repressurized. So I want to change the oil separator behind here as well, because this is a job you can only do with the manifold off. So I mean, as with this far dismounted, I might as well. So I'm going to start to put some WD-40 on these bolts here, just so I can free that off, and also change the gasket. And then under here, if I just get under the car, or under what's left of the front of the car, I'm going to work on these and try and get these properly separated as well. And these, because it will never be easier to do this, and there may come a point where I want to take the cat off. So I may well be grateful of having done that when I'm trying to take the off when it's all back together. And obviously, yeah, just make sure that everything's in decent working order. Take the horns off too, so unplug that. Undo the 10mm. If you ever lose this 10mm socket, we're in a world of trouble. Need to find some new ones of these. These are completely ronnied, these horns. Right, next job is removal of the subframe, but first of all I'm going to go over this and give it a really good clean. So I'm going to get into all the bits that I can get to there and basically clean as far as I can all over basically whatever I can see. They're going to get all down the side as well, and yeah, really go through it and give it a decent chance to dry, and then we're going to get onto the rust treatment and anti-gravel down there. And before I go any further as well, I need to clean all of these parts, give them a really good clean, get all of the mud and everything off the inside of the wings there, and clean the bumper front and back. And we're going to take them into the other area and store them properly so they're not going to get damaged, because a lot of these we are going to be reusing. We don't want to be losing bits like this, and we just want to make sure that everything is properly out the way and clean and yeah, stored properly. So this is also Glim, and it has got a rust inhibitor in it. Obviously we don't want to expose this to more water than necessary, but it needs to be cleaned. We're going to let it dry out, then we're going to keep it dry, and then either change this or treat it or do whatever we've got to do to it. This is the other wing. So both these wings have got no markings on them whatsoever, nothing. No Ford marking, no other kind of brands, basically no writing whatsoever. So I don't know, maybe they're aftermarket ones, not sure, but I'm gonna hang on to them anyway and yeah, see if we can get some proper ones. Okay, it's time to remove the front subframe. So what we're going to do is undo 6 bolts on the front. So we've got 1 there and then 2 at the back there. So 3 on this side, 3 on that side. And then I'm going to take out the bolt here that holds the holds the gearbox, secure the rubber mount here. And then I've got to detach the steering rack from the steering column. So we do that from inside the car. We just take out the bolt and that just basically pulls out. And then basically we can mark this up, or when we put it back on, there is a special tool from Ford, I think, that you can actually line it up. But to be fair, there's going to be such a sort of shitty mark on the bottom of the car, we're going to see exactly where it's been. So I think we're probably going to do it that way. So let's get this off. Take out the bolt at the bottom of the steering column. Guess what size? Yeah, you got it. There you go. And then that should just pull apart. That's it. Take out the bolt from the gearbox mount, 13mm. Pull out the bolt. And put the jack underneath it just to support the weight. And we undo 3 bolts either side, so these 2 here are 18 and this one up here is a 15. Go! Cool. Right, lower the jack. All major disasters usually start with lowering the jack. Here we go. So I'm just going to guide that down as I do that. Ooh, there we go. get some lines attached there. Ah, I see, okay. The steering rack is held on with 2 nuts, so I'm going to undo the 2 nuts, separate the power steering rack, and I'm also going to undo the anti-roll bar nuts as well, and that will separate it, and I can leave the rack hanging on its lines there. So let's get that done. Yeah, so that's the setup. So I'm going to undo these. I take this off either side, and I'm going to undo this nut here, and then withdraw that, and then our rack is separate there. Alright, put a bungee clip around the rack. We don't want to strain the hydraulics when that comes loose, and then we undo these. So that's a 15mm and that's a 13mm. Just leave that loose in there. Otherwise I'm going to lose it. And lift the little boot up here just so we can get the driver onto this bolt down there. There we go, that's the rack free. Okay, now we can take off the anti-roll bar completely by undoing the other 2 nuts there, but I can probably just actually lift this sort of to one side and get the rack out. Let's see. There we go. Let's just let that hang on the bungee cord, and then we're going to withdraw the subframe here. Actually, let's get the jack out of the way. Go. Done. And here we go, one front subframe. So yeah, it's in much better condition than the back one was. It literally is just dirty, a little bit of surface rust on it. So I'm going to take off all the other bits and give it a while. We'll really clean it up. Then it's going to go down to the powder coating company and be powder coated satin black. So yeah, all of this does unbolt. It's all Ford marked. Subframe is an original subframe, still with the original stickers on. Yeah, it's looking good. There we go, look at that space, loads and loads of space there, so we can get to every single bit we need to get to there and seal everything and have a look at it. The rack, I'm not going to do anything to the rack, but I just want to obviously make sure these gaiters aren't split or aren't worn, and just anything that I can do to it while it's there I'm going to do, just because it will never be easier. So there we go, fully dismantled. What I'm going to do now is clean up that front subframe, and then we're going to have a good look at it, and then I'll take it down to the powder coaters and get that powder coated, satin black, and sort of blasted and checked and everything. And then I'll have a look at the steering rack, make sure the gaiters and that are okay, and just do anything that I need to do to that. Then we're going to go through it. I'm going to under seal it. Basically, I'm going to sort of take some of the old paint off, check that the rust has been treated, or treat the rust, prime it, put the anti-gravel on it, and then sort of move forward with that. So as I said, I'd like to get that done before the winter, before the air gets too damp. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I can see from the analytics for the video that a lot of you are actually staying with it all the way. They're quite long, you know, nut and bolt sort of technical restorations, and you are staying with it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.